right now. Well, good morning, boys. Or should I say good afternoon? I had to wait to start this video. I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm already sweating. But behind me, boys, I have every single motorcycle I currently have in my garage right now. The motorcycle collection is not really what it used to be anymore. Now, avid viewers of the page will remember I started this year out with 8 motorcycles. The first bike I sold this year was my Ducati 698. That was kind of a bike that I kind of missed, but it is what it is. I then sold my Ducati Panigale V4 for the R1 that you guys currently see behind you. I just recently sold my KTM 990 RCR to my friend Gabe. He is now currently enjoying that motorcycle and already got pulled over on it, so that's great. It's always a great feeling selling a bike and then somebody I know gets pulled over on it immediately, so it's still in my name too. Lastly, if you guys look at my garage, there's currently a giant missing hole. The Rocket 3. Funny little story about that bike. So this was kind of something kind of catastrophic that maybe I should have included in a YouTube video. I ended up just making a short out of this because I didn't think it was like, there was nothing enough, I didn't have enough to do that day to make like a full YouTube video out of it. But basically the Rocket 3, there's another oil leak, or at least that's what it seems to be. My concern is the Rocket 3 appears to be burning off coolant, like there's coolant disappearing somewhere, and the bike is also leaking oil according to the dealership. So best case scenario, I don't know if there's a best case scenario. I think that bike is in dire, and it's in a pretty bad position. I have no idea when I'm going to be getting that bike back. It's probably, this topic deserves its own YouTube video at this point. It's bad. I don't know what to do with that bike because that is a bike I can't take with me anywhere. It's too big to fit in the van. So my time to enjoy that bike is supposed to be right now, and I don't have it. And I'm probably not going to have it for months. So anyway, that is not what today's video is going to be talking about. This is a video I've been contemplating making for a little while. I've been getting distracted by a lot of other things. A lot of things have been happening in my life, obviously. You know, that's always fantastic. Today, I am listing another one of my bikes for sale. And this is a bike that I think a lot of people are going to be excited to buy, which we'll talk about. I just recently bought the R1, so that's not really the bike that I want to sell. The H2 actually just recently blew its coolant line again. It's not as dramatic as last time. It's not like all the way down the case and spilling everywhere, but this bike is unfortunately spilling coolant again. I know exactly what the issue is. I have to replace these coolant hoses on the side of the bike. It's not a difficult job. It's just an annoying job, but despite the issues that I'm having with this bike, it's not really a bike I really want to sell just yet. I still feel like there's some things I can do with this bike that I have plans for, but I'm just not there yet. The Daytona, on the other hand, this is a bike that's kind of endeared to my heart. It's such a dialed bike. I'm not ready to part with this bike yet. This is a bike that I really enjoy riding every time I take it out. It's a bike that hasn't really done well in terms of content, in terms of like short form content. Like this is not really a bike that people are searching for online. This doesn't get views, but that doesn't really matter to me. Like there are some bikes that are like important for views and like help me out that are also still kind of fun to ride. This is a bike that is just pure enjoyment for myself, and so that's why I've been keeping it this whole time. I do think this bike's time will come eventually where I have to part ways with it because I have to pursue bigger and better things, but for right now, I'm still getting a lot of enjoyment out of this bike. I would prefer to just keep it if I can. The Grom is, well, the Grom. I don't have any plans to sell this bike, probably never will. I don't think I could ever get any close to the value out of it that it kind of serves me. It's been crashed, it's been dumped. This thing gets literally knocked over in my garage for fun sometimes. I'll just be walking past this thing and just knock it over for fun. I have no reason to sell it, and plus I have a little bit of sentimental value with it, so I'm not ready to part ways with it yet. No, boys, today the bike that I'm listing for sale is unfortunately the Yamaha R6. Wow, Matthew, why are you listing this bike? Well, I would love a chance to explain it to you guys, but you guys are gonna have to come with me on a little ride because the dealership I wanna go to get a trade-in value for this bike closes in like an hour, and I live like 45 minutes away from it, so we have to go. Okay, so full disclosure, I've actually not started this bike in like a hot minute. A little bit concerned, we'll figure it out. Matthew, oh my God, you're selling the R6? Yeah, dude, this has been a video I've been holding off on making for a while just because I don't know how to communicate exactly my feeling, or it's just really difficult. And I don't want to sound stupid because I spent a lot of my time, especially last year when I first bought this bike. I've owned this bike for over a year, dude. That's a long time for me. I don't own bikes for that long. I spent a lot of time when I first bought this bike explaining how I wanted to keep it forever. I explained my reasoning. It was nostalgic purposes mainly. Dude, I loved this bike, and I still do. But I've been coming face to face with the reality of owning this bike and riding this bike. And I gotta be honest, I have 4,600 miles on this bike. I have not ridden this bike in 2 months. 2 months without riding this bike. I started this year out with 8 different motorcycles. I only get so much of the year to ride. And so whenever the weather does open up in Ohio, like it is right now, like when it's really like, this is some crazy weather we have, it starts to make me analyze the bikes I have in my garage I haven't been riding. This thing is just rough. And especially riding this back to back with my R1. Like I had my R1 out until 5 in the morning yesterday. I got home at 4:44 a.m., dude. Excruciating ride home, but I gotta be honest, it was one of the best motorcycle rides of my entire existence. I'm in love with the R1, and riding that bike back to back with this is really, like, even now, like, making me realize how rough around the edges the R6 is. Do you guys want to see the worst part of R6 ownership? Let me throw this thing in 6th gear really quick. This might be dangerous because there's a semi-truck going. This is full throttle. We are full pin. We gotta beat that semi-truck. Come on, baby! Another funny little quirk about the R6 is generally on the highway, like off camera, like if you're gonna be doing some cruising above the general speed of traffic, generally gonna be staying around 8 to 9,000 RPMs, which on a 600 is not horrible for the motor. Like your red line's at 16,000. That's about halfway up. That's fine. Problem is for yourself, for like long distance, generally at 8,000 RPMs, the handlebar is going to be vibrating so much that you can only stay on this bike for a max like an hour on the highway. Traveling on this bike is basically not an option unless you get some like handlebar upgrades or like some anti-vibration stuff, which is just going to look silly on a 600. Anyway, boys, if you guys remember, this is actually the same dealership I bought my R1 from. I'm pretty sure they still have my V4 for sale, but welcome back to Throw Point Motorsports, boys. The reason I'm coming here is because I'm not trading in this bike today. I'm not planning on getting rid of this bike like right now. I mainly came here with just the intention of trying to get a trade-in value for this bike. Getting a trade-in value for this bike, well, the problem is, the problem is this bike is kind of like a rarer bike. This was a 2025 race model that I converted into street, if you guys remember. That was like the big content thing that I got out of this bike. It was kind of a dream of mine that I had, I managed to fulfill because Yamaha quit making this model of R6 back in 2020. The prices on these things skyrocketed, and they're still really high to this day. I didn't want to buy a used one of these bikes for like $18,000 because I would have felt like a giant waste of my money. So I ended up buying a new one. I found a leftover one somehow. I drove all the way to Virginia to buy this bike in the middle of a blizzard, picked this bike up, which was the first time I ever had a bike in the back of the bed of my truck for the first time back when I bought this thing. And I made a ton of videos out of this bike last year. This bike gave me a ton to do in the middle of winter. What's going on, man? I have a ton of memories and connection with this bike, but if I'm honest with you, I feel like the reason I haven't been riding this bike is I don't really have a lot to talk about it anymore. Its adventure has kind of been over. Anyway, let's go get a trading value on this bike. I'm very curious. All right, Trevor, what do you think? Can I get like 18 grand for this thing, right? You gonna give me a solid deal on trade?
I think like 3,500 is fair for this.
My issue is I don't really know like what I would get after the R6. I have a couple of bikes in mind. I was thinking mainly, potentially, maybe an R7. I've been talking about doing a beginner bike series for a little bit. This would kind of be what I was thinking. I do really have a special place in my heart for Yamaha, and these new R7s are kind of sweet. This one's not turning on because there's no battery in it, but still. They did a little bit of stuff with the frame on these new 26s, I think. They also give it better suspension. There's a couple other updates. I think they gave it a full electronic throttle, so now it's like it matches more of the R1. It's really sick what they did with this. I've owned an MT-07 before. I've owned a bike with this motor, so it'd be really cool to do something with this. I'm familiar with the platform. I would love to do a beginner bike, like sport bike series, but maybe this is too much power. Maybe I should look for something lower, like maybe a ZX4 RR. I think there's a guy in my DMs who's been trying to get me to buy one of these for like 200 days or something like that. And look at that, dude. Only $8,200. It's actually not horrible. It's like $1,000 off of MSRP, so it would be really cool. I remember I was glued to my screen when they revealed this bike. It's like back in 2023 or something like that. It's only a 400cc bike, but it's in inline 4, and so it screams out. It has the same problems as the R6, which is what I'm saying, but this would be another cool like beginner bike series level bike. And it's a bike not a lot of motorcycle people have online, so it'd be kind of cool. Kind of moving in the other direction, I was thinking also potentially about a Hayabusa. I think this is a bike a lot of people have like a bad reputation in their mind of. I think it'd be kind of really cool to like show up on TikTok with like a Hayabusa one day, throw an exhaust on it, like fully modify it out, and maybe like turbocharge it or something. Just like do whack stuff for like TikTok content. And plus it would be kind of cool to have like a couch that goes like 200 miles an hour. I don't know, just a thought. All right, so I got a decent trade estimate. I don't have like a solid number yet. They weren't willing to give me that yet because it's kind of a hard bike to appraise. There's not like a plethora of these bikes for sale, and the dealership obviously has the interest of making money. So if I were to trade it in, they have to be able to make a little bit of money on it. The only other R6 that they could find for sale, like this model, like the 2020 plus like race models, it's a 2023 with 9,000 miles. It does not have any of the street lights on it, like how this has the headlight right there. It has the nice little LEDs, has the license plate bracket, the turn signals on the back. They're kind of tucked up in there, but they are there. That one was for sale for $14,000. So that's good news for us.
People we need on the social medias right now.
It's fun. Hey, wait, actually, do you want to start it?
It doesn't matter.
You don't matter? I don't want to treat you like a kid, but you were telling me like never.
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, I don't know. Oh, man. I felt stupid asking, but I was just like, I don't know. I felt weird not offering it. He seemed super excited. He was like hanging around because he wanted to hear it, and I'm like, okay, like, hey, actually, you want to start it? Like, you want to start the motorcycle? And now I feel like a moron. I did a lot to this bike to get it fully street legal. Yamaha included pretty much every single plug that you needed to make this bike street legal. It's almost like Yamaha wanted people to do this. But as far as I know, I'm like the only guy, at least on YouTube, that's documented this, that has done this in pretty much the entire country. And now this bike is fully street legal. I can sell it to anybody who wants a street legal R6. The only issue I'm having with giving this bike a price, because I feel like this bike is worth a lot. You still see people selling R6s for 16, 17, and in some cases, $18,000. And it's on top of the fact Yamaha just announced, at least internally, like the dealership was telling me this. I don't know if there's an article. If I can find one, I'll list it. But Yamaha is no longer making street legal, or not, I'm sorry, Yamaha is no longer going to be producing even this race model, the R6. The R6 is officially gone. So even if you want to buy a brand new R6, like if you order one, you wait for it to come, it's never going to show up because they quit making them. That Yamaha, like the way that these motorcycle companies work is they have like factories, and when they have a new model come out, kind of like the R9, they have to scrap things and to make room for the new model. And since the R9 shares a lot of parts with the R6, minus like the engine and the frame, I'm assuming what happened is Yamaha asked this race model R6 so that way they could just allocate more resources to producing R9s that people want, because that's really the bike that a lot of people are buying these days. Like, even people going racing are buying R9s now instead of R6s. Like, this is really going by the wayside. So another reason why I didn't want to make this video is because once I sell this bike, there is no going back. I can't exactly buy another one of these things. Unless you want to pay astronomical used prices, I'm okay on that one. So I have two reasons why I'm selling this bike, and I have one reason that makes me want to keep it. The one and only reason that I want to keep this bike is for nostalgic purposes. Every time I look at this bike, every time I ride this bike, it reminds me of my first motorcycle, which I explained when I first got it. But the two reasons that I want to sell this bike are kind of bigger reasons that have been kind of taking more of a foothold. Your boy just wanted some liquid death. It's my weakness. Not sponsored, but my weakness. So I have two main points of contention with this bike that's making me want to sell it. One, and this is just going to be me being fully honest with you, this bike fully sucks to ride. The memes about this bike, like what people say about this bike is true. It's jerky, it's notchy, it is not as comfortable to ride as the R1. The R1 is way smoother, the updated suspension on the R1 rides like a cloud, dude. The brakes are horrible on this bike. They have rubber lines, but yes, I know you can upgrade them, but that's like $1,200 to upgrade the full system. It's not worth it to upgrade it. And that's the other aspect of this bike. Like, yes, I could upgrade all this stuff to make it nicer to ride, but my issue is the content with this bike. I know this is not going to be a popular statement to say, but the content on this bike is just kind of like, it's done. It's been done for like a year. Like, there's nothing I can make out, like a video out of this bike that I already haven't done. I cannot think of anything with this bike that I already haven't like talked about or recorded. And so to me, it's just a bike kind of like the Daytona that I explained in the beginning of the video, where it's just been like a pleasure bike. But the only good pleasurable part about this bike is that it sits pretty in my garage. I have no logical reason to take this bike on a ride over any of my other bikes that just ride way nicer. Like, even the Daytona doesn't make like any more horsepower than this bike. I think the Daytona is actually probably slower top speed than this bike. But the Daytona is just so much more fun. Like, this bike isn't fun to ride anymore. It used to be fun. Like, it was a one-trick pony, like the H2, where it's like, oh, I'm going to take it on the highway and go really fast, and it's like going to sound crazy. But I don't know. I don't get that fun little vibe out of it anymore. Yes, we were eating at Chipotle again. The thing is so pretty. I love looking at it. The last thing I wanted to address and kind of talk about is kind of why I'm selling. I feel like I always got to explain in my videos, like, I always have an ulterior motive, like an evil reason as to why I'm selling these things. Both the 698 and the KTM I sold without the interest of getting another motorcycle. As I explained to you guys, it's kind of been, I want to travel more, and traveling is expensive, and that's the reason why I sold those two bikes. I don't want to give you guys the impression I'm just like selling all of my bikes, because at this point, like, once I sell one bike, it's like, okay, once you sell another one, it's like, all right, Matthew, like, you're gonna buy another one? Like, you're just not interested in motorcycles anymore? What's going on? So I am planning on buying immediately, like, another bike after I sell this. It is the middle of summer. I don't have the Rocket 3. That thing is just somewhere that's permanently out of the way. So I'm kind of lacking what was supposed to be, like,
The Rocket 3 was meant to be my daily driver for this year. It was kind of like the R9 replacement, where it's a bike that kind of does everything. I can cruise on it, and it's chill, and I can ride it all day comfortably. I don't have that right now. I'm lacking a comfortable, like, fun bike to ride. The R1 is the closest thing that I have to it, but even the R1, like, the R1s I could ride all day, genuinely, but it's still not, like, a comfortable bike. So ideally, that's a cop right there. Wow, he's sneaky. Look at him. So ideally, I'm looking for something that's like a cross between something fun while also being comfortable. I have no idea what I'm gonna buy yet. I really, again, this is one of those things I was waiting on to try to figure out before I made this video, but it kind of ran out of time. Maybe another S1K, I don't know. I've owned an S1K before, which is not that interesting, but I'm torn between a lot. I'm in a good spot where I could buy something, especially after I saw this. I don't know, it's tough. I will certainly miss looking at this thing. When I first bought this bike, I'm on record saying that this is the best looking sport bike ever made, and I stand by that. Some people were always confused, like they were asking me why I have a cross on it, they were asking me why I have an upside down cross on it. I figured this is probably the best time to explain that before I potentially sell this bike. There's no like super deep religious meaning or anything. I mean, I was raised Catholic, not like a super huge churchgoer now, but I'm not opposed to it. That is simply there. Like some people think it's like, oh, it's a mark meant to protect me. Some people think it's like an upside down cross, which is weird. It's not what it's supposed to be. It was just supposed to be like it's the holy R6. I brought it back from the dead because everyone thought that the R6 was discontinued and it wasn't. I was like the first guy on YouTube to kind of like make a big deal out of buying a R6 race, converting it to the street and riding it on the street. And it was awesome, dude. I really loved riding this thing. It was super nostalgic. I don't have anything left to say about it other than that. This guy is just sitting right there. I'm gonna go around you. No idea what you're doing. So the last thing I'll say is how much I'm selling this bike for, which I'm kind of scared to say because I don't want to get flamed for it. I bought this bike for around $12,000. I put about $1,500 into it. After taxes and everything said and done, I'm about $14,000 into this bike. I would like if I could get that back. Now, I get there's going to be some people saying I could probably get more for this bike. I think there's probably going to be some people saying that I'm a greedy little hog asking for $14,000 for a 600. But especially now that the R6s are officially discontinued, like they are never going to make these bikes again. I think I would just be happy to get out of it what I put into it.
Well, boys, I think that just about does it. I wish I lived in a world where I had infinite money and I could keep every single motorcycle that I own forever. Unfortunately, we're going to have to make room and also save a little bit of money and move on to bigger and better things. Now, if you guys have any ideas of what you guys want me to ride and customize next, I'm all open to ideas because I honestly have no idea. Preferably it'd be something I can ride long distance and kind of be a little bit more comfortable on, because as you can tell, it's lacking in the garage right now. Let me know your thoughts. I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta get to bed. Got a big day tomorrow. So I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.